What's up, y'all? Welcome to another week of Hyping It. Glad y'all could come out today. We got actually a little different show today for you. We definitely have another special guest we're gonna talk to today, but I want y'all to keep Kalisha in y'all thoughts and prayers. She's not doing too well. She had a small accident, and then we also missing our other guest today, but we got somebody in place for him. You want to introduce yourself?
My name is Eric Williams. I am here. I am here filling in. Here filling in.
You're feeling in. Well, we're glad to have you, Reverend Eric Williams. And thanks for everything you do for Hype. He's actually the founder of Hype, so definitely a pleasure having him on, having fun with us on Hyping It, and we still gonna hype it up for y'all today. You want to tell them about Hype and what it Hyping It and what it is since you created it?
Well, sure, I can do that. Hype is one of the things that we tried to do early to stay in contact with teens and to be caring, listening, adults, keep teens active, um, speaking about things that really apply to them. And so we've used performing arts, we've used video creation, we've used a number of things just so that we can stay in touch. This current uh, way to do hype is because of that dreaded thing called the COVID. Uh,
Coronavirus.
Miss Rona has made us change a whole bunch of things, and this is one of the things that we've changed, and so I'm glad that we can have this touch now. Today, since it's so different, I want to invite Priska and Rance to come on the
Oh,
show with us. You got to turn your mics on. You got to turn your video on. I want to see all of us on the square. Will y'all be so kind as to do it? Here comes Priska. Here comes
Priska
Priska.
Iska.
Turn your camera on and your mic. Rance, turn on your camera and your mic. We're going to teleport you up in here too. Okay, I see you. Here come
Look at
Rance,
Rance.
What up?
either or either a burglar.
Burglar.
Is, is, is
I'm in the
a,
Walmart.
is,
I'm in the Walmart.
Oh man. Oh, you was texting
hey,
jokes
Chris,
and Walmart shopping. You bad brother.
I was driving to Texas. My bad.
Oh,
oh, oh, hey, Priska, let me see your face. You got a camera on?
here we go.
Oh,
Here she,
hey,
here she comes.
my hair is not done.
You better
Put your skull cap on. Put your skull cap on. Get
Mm.
on back on here because we're gonna have a little talk. We're gonna have a little talk about some
Oh my
about.
God. Whew, okay, hold
Have a
on.
little, all right, and cool. And then while she's making her head presentable, I want to invite Brother Anthony. Let's see if we can teleport Brother Anthony Butler on with. Dun, 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 dun. Boom, boom, boom.
Brother Anthony.
It's like Star Trek.
How's it going, Brother Anthony Butler?
Hey, I'm doing well, Josh. Hey, much respect. Thank you all to all the great work you're doing, and thanks for the invite.
Oh no, thank you. And thanks for all the work you're doing out here in the community. You a well accomplished author. You got several books, poet, and then a great motivational speaker as well. And you was even telling me backstage about some of the other stuff you used to do and still do as well. You want to talk about some of that for us? Oh yeah, then you also you're the founder of a company called VIP.
Yeah, Violence I Prevent movement. 2013, I just stepped out by faith and started a company. I came from a background of being a teacher, and many times the students that I served, I set the curriculum and the agenda off to the side because it was hard to reach someone who was struggling with some of those day to day challenges. And so we had many conversations about life, coupled that with getting them motivated
No, no.
academics. And it turned into a great, great, great opportunity for me because God was laying it on my heart for years. I often say when you reflect on your past and you start looking at your gifts and your skill set, you find yourself in many times doing something like breathing. And for me to speak and for me to help people, it's like breathing to me. So long story short, turn into the VIP movement, violence I prevent, help people confront the underlying reasons for violence in unique and innovative ways.
Perfect, perfect. That's an accomplishment right there, my brother. We actually have a video of you we wanted to play, and then we can get into some things, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's play that video.
We locked eyes across the room. I smelled his cologne and he my perfume. I was drawn in, captivated by speechless flirtation, heart racing, pulsating encounters that mentally mesmerized me. Imagine us taking trips to the moon and then one day, boom. He said, "What's your name? What's your number?" I couldn't move, my legs felt like lumber, and here comes the timber. I fell for him. I remember it was cold outside, mid-December. That's when I gave my power away. The honeymoon phase lasted 2 months, 1 week, 4 days, and 7 hours or so. I say that's when I gave my power away. I didn't trip shortly after Valentine's Day when I bumped into my ex. My current seemed to suggest that even my speaking of him in public created a hot mess. After that, little by little, he started treating me less and less than I expected. Isolated, more frequent in his jealousy, monitoring my social life and phone, planting deceitful seeds that pitted me against my friends and family, and now I feel all alone. Who's in control? I moved in with him with red flags waving, ignored by the obvious because my heart was craving love, reasoning to myself I can change him because I'm a good person. Ever since I was a little girl, I remember playing house and rehearsing for this role, so he became the object of my affection, my attention, my counterfeit counterpart that seems to grow as I got old. Who's in control? As time went by, he began to lose his clout. He went from being jealous to controlling, calling me crazy and cussing me out. I couldn't take it, I was about to shout, but then I found I had 2 mouths that were about to shout. Me under pressure and our child inside about to come out. We locked eyes across the room. I smelled his cologne and he my perfume. I was drawn in, captivated by speechless flirtation, heart racing, pulsating encounters that mentally mesmerized me. Imagine us taking trips to the moon and then one day, boom, I just got shoved. I just got slapped. I keep making him mad. After he beats me, he says, "I'm so beautiful and sweet. I'm sorry," accompanied by chocolate roses and many promises that he will let me be me and do my thing. Repeat. I just got shoved. I just got slapped. I keep making him mad. After he beats me, he says, "I'm so beautiful and sweet. I'm sorry," accompanied by chocolate roses and many promises that he will let me be me and do my thing. Repeat. I know I hold the key, but now I'm also holding 2 kids clinging close to me, more mouths to feed. I pushed away my friends, my family, and now I feel hopeless, helpless, living with this G who got eternal issues. I might leave, I might miss you. I'm tired of living in this house, decorated with snotty, crumbled up tissue. Tired of wearing thick makeup, covering up my bruises and scars. Tired of living far below my standards, so this time, I'm going far. So this time when he and I locked eyes across the room, I hate his cologne and I quit wearing that perfume. I'm all in, motivated by God-given insights and discernment. So this time when he and I locked eyes, he knew, pulsating, piercing, frustrations. The doors slammed as I left the house, flanked by family and friends, and I will never, ever go back again. Who's in control? I am.
Man, that was deep. Real deep.
One of the things when you think about domestic violence, I captured the lens of that poem video was a 14-year-old girl's story that resonates with so many other girls' story. But we know domestic violence can happen in all sorts of relationships, intimate partner violence in every relationship. Doesn't matter what age you are, no matter what gender you are. It's just it happens in all relationships. So I decided to take the perspective of different relationships, looking back on some of my own personal family and things that went on in my bloodline. And I just decided to be a cycle breaker in a creative way.
Yes, sir. And you good with the pen, man. Your lyrics is on point. And you like Biggie with the stories. What
I,
got you into doing poetry?
hey, all my life I had to.
Here we go.
Hey, all my life I wrote my way out of issues. I wrote my way out of trauma. I wrote my way out of low self-esteem. I used to have stacks and stacks of material just
Mm,
underneath the bed, and I just was writing my way. And I knew I had a gift. But the
yeah.
thing about it was my thought process was so messed up that I kind of sat on my gift. And I literally slept on my gift. And I didn't necessarily start pulling it out until I had to get my thought process together. And oftentimes I'll say, like question, how many negative thoughts infiltrate our minds daily? How many times do these thoughts be like crying babies? And sometimes I got to put these thoughts to sleep, lullabies. Will I believe thoughts that cause me to lie? Or will I believe thoughts that cause me to rise? So Josh, what I did was I took my thoughts and
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to rise. I'm going to rise out of this through my thought process.
Here we
I'm going
go.
to speak my way to another level. And I do things like that with VIP. I get people, I go into a school, go into a church, go into the community, and I say, what's in your hands? And I say, what's in your hands coupled with what's in your head? And then if we look at the type of trauma we went through, the violence we went through, and I said, let's get that out in a healthy way. So that's
Yes,
how I do
sir.
it.
Man, that's important right there. I'm hoping somebody's listening out there and can take that in because that's some real good advice right there.
Yes.
Now I know you born and raised in Kansas City. What got you on the path to really want to be a spokesman for violence prevention and really getting with the community on dealing with that trauma and that violence that we deal with? Was there anything specific?
Yes, when you think about it, I was born 1321 Vine, TV Watkins, 12th Street, down in
Hmm.
that end of town. And so I grew up in the northeast end of town, went to schools in that particular area. And you just kind of, it's like you grew up with it. It was in your house, it was in your neighborhood. Every man I knew had straight A's. They were alcoholic, abusive, angry, and absent. And I said, I'm going to break this cycle. So I'm not going to have those straight A's. And so what I wanted to do was be the one in my family. Sometimes you go to your family reunion and you see patterns. And when you think about the pattern, so you go there and from time to time you look around and like most of the men were angry. Most of the men were alcoholics. Most of the men were abusive. And most of them had that hit and miss pattern of being absent. And so as a little boy growing up around that, and I was like, where is my daddy? Wasn't there. And I just channeled that into a different way to say my kid's gonna have me saying, "Here you are, son. I love you. Daughter, you're beautiful. I love you." And I wanted to be present, and that kind of like fueled me since I was little because sometimes the very thing that you don't have turn into the opposite of that, and that's the way I.
Yes, sir.
And man, that's fantastic, man. I appreciate you sharing that. I think you got a little preacher down in your soul too. You just started about to you put your finger behind your ear and lean back and say it. So I appreciate your feeling. And I see that Alexis and Sydney are on the call with us tonight too. Uh,
What's up, y'all?
Alexis and Sydney, I want to bring y'all on. I want you to turn your cameras on so we can see your smiling faces and turn on your mics too. This is a little bit different conversation. I really want it to be a for real conversation because this is a really important subject matter. And we want to talk about domestic violence, um, 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 intimate partner danger, violence. We want to talk about dating problems. We want to talk about the fact that men and women fall to this. I'm going to talk about the fact that during COVID, the stats have gone up, and maybe some of the reasons why. Alexis, I still don't see your face. You got a camera on, or you just on your rotary phone? Are you on your rotary phone, or you got a phone? You got a phone that ain't smart. You got a phone that ain't smart. There she comes. There she comes. All
Alexis,
right.
Sydney. Alexis was saying in the chat, what school did you say he used to speak at that you attended, Alexis?
Like Hogan.
Hogan.
Hey,
Hogan Prep.
Rams in the house.
And Sydney, what school did you go to? Sydney can't hear me. Sydney's floating like she's in a
I
Spike
can
Lee
hear you.
movie.
Sorry, I was talking to my mom.
All right. So now, when it comes to
No, I was talking to my mom real quick.
all right, when it comes to you talking to your mama and talking to me, yeah, talk to your mama because she got to feed you and stuff. What school you go to, Sid?
I go to Allen Village.
Aha. Okay. Has this domestic violence thing been something that you all have discussed or seen or investigated?
At my school, we don't really talk about domestic violence that often. We talk more about like mental health issues, but not much about domestic violence or abusive relationships or anything like that.
Yeah, Brother Butler just did I'm not sure if you were on when the video was playing, but I think that was a really gripping piece that talked about transitions that happen. You think you're into one thing, thinking a guy really loves you, thinking a guy really wants to take care of you, and it turns into something else. Have you seen that kind of thing before in real life?
In real life, no, not really. But the doubtfulness of thinking that God doesn't love me, I've experienced it personally because like when I go through like bad things and rough patches in my life, I feel like God isn't in my life, so my faith is not really where it should be. But I have to talk myself into believing what goes on because God does everything for a reason. So if he didn't do everything for a reason, then I wouldn't be in the mess that I'm in.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, thank you for your
Thank you for sharing.
Go ahead,
Say it again, Anthony. I don't think.
Yeah, I was just complimenting Sydney, just thanking her for her bravery, and then having the mindset that sometimes, even though we might not feel God's presence pushing your way through, to just be available to the fact that God is with you. He surrounds you with people. Like on this call right now, with all the things that I'm finding out that happen, it's not by accident that we're all hearing you right now and encouraging you for this particular moment of what God is going to prepare you for going forward. And so I appreciate you being courageous to share that with us.
Yes, sir. Hey, Anthony, what do you see like I know you travel around a lot and you go to different schools. What do you see when it comes to like domestic violence or what was the word again? I'm sorry.
Partner violence.
Intimate partner violence. Yeah. What do you see? How do you see that starting out with kids in that age group?
Well, Josh, that's an excellent question because what happens is this: it starts out as a habit in terms of I go through pre-K on up, all the way from, I'll just say from 3 to 103. So you started noticing things in elementary schools where a lot of times the students are playing, and they call it just playing, when somebody's pushing and shoving and hitting or trying to have that possessive, controlling nature. And then you go into a middle school setting. I'll never forget one time a young lady asked me to tell her boyfriend to let him know that she doesn't want to go with him anymore, because she said she was scared. Seventh grader. I knew both of them, and I handled it with respect and decency. But I said, man, she don't want to go with you anymore. Let her go. He said, all right, Mr. Butler. All right, Mr. Butler. And the thing about it was, in seventh grade, this young lady was very afraid to even tell somebody, I want to break up with you, because she felt like he was going to do something. And so when you look at in our schools, and I think Sydney hit up on it, we have to start intentionally, in an age appropriate way, dealing with those issues that cause great students to be sidetracked, to be distracted. I mean, when I grew up, I want to try to think about school. You're hearing people in your house arguing, you got fights breaking out, you show up and you just in a daze. You're in a daze. And so what I do is try to get individuals to see that this particular student is not necessarily all about them having academic struggles. They're going through some stuff. Let's connect them with some helping people, like what you all do with Hyping It. Fascinating and outstanding. Much respect to you all.
Oh, thanks, brothers. Appreciate that. What about y'all? What questions do y'all have for Brother Anthony?
I don't have no
Actually,
questions, but like I agree with him with the like it start like in the childhood, like in the home with the habits and stuff. Because like growing up, I've always seen like violence and stuff like that. And so now that I've grown up and seen it, it make me want to think about like not having, if I do have kids in the future or something like that, not having my kids have to go through the same habits and stuff, and what's not okay and what is okay.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Mr. Anthony actually with youth ambassadors in September at the Peace Summit. And just like everything that he was talking about was really powerful and impactful, especially like y'all have said with teenagers, especially. And what he just said a couple minutes ago, like telling, like being able to tell people what's right and what's wrong, even younger kids, because like he said, they don't really understand it when they're young. They just think, oh, I have friends, so they can do whatever they want. But as we get older and understand, I think that it's important to actually sit down with them and have a conversation. Like hitting somebody else is wrong. It is just all the way wrong. So we have to, talk talk that out with them, or it'll just get worse over the years. So I agree with what he said.
Thanks.
Sydney, can I jump back on something that you said earlier about God not feeling like God loves you? Because I think that's a common thing for a bunch of folks, and including me. I think I have felt that, growing up, that he didn't love me, and that parents didn't love me, and that it was all kind of a bust. And so it sounds like you've kind of made it through some of that and understand. So I don't think I need to preach to you about the fact that God loves you. I think you understand that. But I think what you can do for me is tell me how you got over thinking that. How did you get beyond that?
Like I said a couple minutes ago, I have to keep telling myself that God does everything for a reason. So that was one thing. And two, since I'm growing up in the church, my parents have always taught me that prayer and reading will get you through anything. So I did that a lot. And when I pray, I don't pray like I'm talking to y'all right now. Like I don't call out all guys' names. No, I don't do that. I just say, look here, dude, I need you to come get your kids because they're getting on my nerves. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that. But like prayer and reading gets me through everything. And then having my family there to make me feel better, like to have that family surrounding me, it helps me to like get rid of all my stress and my issues. I can talk that out with them. We hug, we watch a movie, and go on with our lives. So that's really how I get through everything.
That's excellent. Thank you for sharing that. Alexis, you got anything to any wisdom to drop on the old peoples?
Just what she said, like you can't question God because God already like had your life figured out what's the next step gonna be. But I think some like trials and tribulations that we go through, I feel like he put it in our life for us to learn from it also. Like, so I take that as he wanted to learn something, like learn coming from something from our situation and want us to just pass it on to the next, or just in case something does happen again, like you know what to be prepared for.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Brother Rance, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Well, I missed I missed a big portion of what was going on. Trying to get back in.
Okay. You had some technical
Yeah, I was having some sound issues. I did have a question, so to speak. Like, so back in the day, females used to believe, or probably still up to this day, believe that it was their fault for being in a relationship where it was abusive. Um, I guess I want to ask Anthony, like, what advice could you give the females or a friend of the female who has this mindset that it's her fault that she's going through an abusive relationship?
Thank you for that question, Rance. And that is something that comes up often when you look at intimate partner violence. The reason why a lot of it is not even reported is because of that guilt and shame associated with it. And many times they put it on themselves and said, because of the decision I made, and they start taking the ownership of this is who I am, somebody who makes poor decisions. So what I typically do is be transparent with individuals and let them know that we all have decisions that sometimes that we feel are not the greatest. Let me hear your heart. You know, I'm not going to judge you. I don't care where you at. And this is how I can help you get an exit plan out of that. And so the greatest thing to do is when someone is already kicking themselves, I'm not going to come along and start giving a couple of kicks in. I'm going to come along and start giving you some hope, giving you some help. And when you catch those silent screams, as I call them, we know nonverbal communication. Many times as an educator, just a person in general, I just scan the room. And you look at the eyes, and the eyes don't lie, pupil. I just dropped one. Think about it. The eyes don't lie. And so when you look at someone's pupils, we started noticing that I'm saying I'm okay, but I'm not. And then I start looking at who they're connected with. And I always try to pair them with some people who they can kind of open up more. We say, how you doing often. But when you say how you really doing, most people won't open up until a select few. So I just say, hey, check on somebody right quick and let's have this session. And so that's how I typically get them to open up, give them hope, and misplace that mindset that is not the greatest. I just kind of fill it up with some things. And I keep going back to what I said earlier. Once you, from a business standpoint, I call it opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is this. Sometimes we can't do two things at once. So if I can get you to think differently about yourself, you're going to automatically let go of those negative thoughts if I can get you to think on a higher level about yourself. And then I'll pull them in and get them some hope and some help and connect them with some consistent people in their lives.
Excellent. Let me ask Sydney and Alexis and Rance this. Should couples hit each other playing? Should that be a part of?
No, because it turns into something serious, and then just because y'all playing, it will get to a bigger situation than what it had to get to. But if it doesn't like, if it's not a pattern for them, like they know that it's a playing mode, then yeah, like they can do it. I know some couples, they can like, one can be like, okay, I'm playing, and then the other one be like, I'm not in the mood for playing, and get serious. And then it'll cause a bigger situation, and then police getting called or parents getting called, and it just making it bigger than what it had to just for a playing moment.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. And
Sydney.
one thing to throw in there too, Alexis. Aren't you a little bit too young to be listening to "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls" TLC?
It's my auntie in the car,
Oh,
not me.
okay. Yeah. All right, your turn, Sydney. Sydney. Oh,
I was just gonna agree with what Alexis said. Yeah, I agree totally. It depends on the mood of each partner for me, really. So like she said, if one's not in the mood, but one still feels the need to, then things get carried away and things go too far. So yeah, it just depends on the mood of both partners and not just one.
okay. Makes sense. That's a good. Oh, go ahead, Anthony.
I was going to say this too. When we start reflecting on our home environments, and the research backs it up. So if I'm a male and if I was in a house and the dominant male figure or father figure was abusive, I pick it up and I normalize it. And if young ladies see it, they pick it up and they normalize the fact of being the victim. So what we see growing up for those who are surrounding us, it kind of gets us that normalcy coupled with the media messages, the music messages. Sometimes we bobbing our head to a beat and somebody's getting beat down and we just bobbing our head. And the next thing you know, our desensitized hearts kick in. And now we don't even think it's anything out of the ordinary because I grew up listening to people, watching videos, seeing all of these negative images, and it causes me to have a numb heart.
Yes, sir. We always look at the stigma of when you talk about domestic violence. It's always the man abusing the woman. What would you want to? How would you speak on the reverse side of it when a man is in an abused situation?
Yeah, it's about 33%, one out of every three women who reported or abused, and about one out of four men. And a lot of people don't know about 25% of men are in the abusive relationship. And men have the tendency to not say a word because of that, again, that reverse stigma. They just put up with it. So I'll say something similar in terms of what I say to the young ladies. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Put yourself in a position where you can actually start confronting it in a healthy way. And oftentimes, when we allow certain things, I call it the ABCs, and I can go through the alphabet, but all of us want to be accepted. We want to belong. We want to have a sense of control. We want to develop independence. Each one of us want to be loved. And when we start looking at those things, sometimes we stay in unhealthy relationships because we feel nobody else wants us. And that's one of the things that if it's a man, many times like I can't get another woman like this, so I'm gonna put up with this. And that's the mindset that prevails on both ends.
Yes, sir. You got a
So to
lot.
piggyback a little bit on top of that is violence isn't the only abuse in a relationship. It could be mentally, physically,
Yes, sir.
spiritually. Violence of no kind should be acceptable.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we got a video we want to play that brother Anthony put together, and then we'll talk about kind of some of the ways you can spot abuse or that you're being abused, or what is it, like red flags, I believe.
Yes.
Can we go ahead and play that video?
That's a pretty extensive list there.
Yeah.
I wish it would have been going a little slower so I could, I could
You didn't get that hooked on phonics works for me class like they tried, did they? I think one that really stood out to me was that it tries to keep you from having a job and bettering yourself so they can. You want to speak more on why they do that?
Part of it is you get that dependency going on to where you got to depend on me. You got to depend on me for compliments. You got to depend on me for income. You got to depend on me to be the one in your corner. And those are the types of things coupled with that power and control tendency to where I want to isolate you. And in that poetic piece I talk about, they turn you against your support network.
Mm.
So next thing you know, they'll be planting seeds. Your mama don't like you. Your daddy never did care for you. Your best friend is a snake. And so it kind of gets you, if you're not in the right position, to kind of push those relationships to the side. And the next thing you know, you just depending solely on them. And then what Rance has said, all of those different forms of abuse start kicking in financially, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, physical may or may not happen, but if they have your mind, they have you.
That's crazy. What stood out to y'all? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brad.
well, I was going to ask them to tag on to this statement I'm going to make, and I just want to hear your response to it and whether you think it's true, false, right, wrong. Those who have been abused turn out to be abusers.
I wouldn't generalize it. I say it's a chance. Either way would happen. You know, I've seen both cases where somebody who was abused uh, sexually or as a kid turn around and be very promiscuous. Then I've seen it the same way where somebody sexually abused as a kid come out and sex is the farthest thing from their mind. They focused on their books because they don't want to be in the same position they was because it hurt them when they was younger. So I think it can go both ways.
Yeah, I agree with Rance because like I've been abused and stuff like that, and I wouldn't wish that on nobody. So I would not want my kids to go through it or anything like that. And I wouldn't, I wouldn't say that's true. Really, like it depends on this. It depends because sometimes situation can't do that. Because in my situation, my parent was abused, and then it turned out that she was doing it to her kids because that's all that was taught to her. So I want to like turn it around and not make it a pattern at all for my kids.
Thank you so much for your honesty, Alexis.
I agree.
Transparency.
Excellent. Thank you all for sharing. Sydney, was you trying to say something? Was
No, I
you
just said that I agree with what they said.
okay? Okay. Yes, it's a big deal and big pressure. And so, what I want each of us to know that are on and those that will be listening later is that we do have some counseling supports that are available, and all you have to do is ask, and I'll foot the bill for it. Our sponsors will foot the bill for it. We just want to make sure that each of you all are safe and protected and well. Um, Sometimes people have the stigma about mental health supports, and trust me, and it ain't nothing weak about receiving help. Uh, Help is a good thing. Who doesn't need a little help every once in a while? Brother Anthony, so why did you decide to do this way rather than just being one of them rap artists with the chick on the side and the big old fancy car and stuff? You think you could have made more money the other way?
Most likely could have definitely made more money if you look at it from a financial standpoint. But for me, I decided to do it this way because when you think about how to connect with people, and I often say they teach me, and I'll go into a school, and I don't know if Alexis was at Hogan, and I do it all the time in these schools. I do this thing called I Got Bars. And so literally, We bring our bars, granola bars, fruit bars, candy bars, then we share our bars, and we break down some social issues, and it gets individuals to start dealing with that. But I chose this format because I will have a greater reward and satisfaction of knowing cycles were broken, or you prevented people from going deeper into a pattern of actually causing you look at any violence, it starts in most cases in the home. So that internal process spills over to community violence. When you start networking and talking to some of the people who are in gangs and breaking in houses and hearing their personal stories, they'll tell you some stuff that went on in the house first. In most cases, the house set the tone. And then after the house sets the tones, it spills over to the community, the school. And then the next thing you know, we pretty much, I'll say for a lack of a better word, terrorize those closest to us. And so our zip codes are prevalent. And if you talk to the individuals and strip away the stigmas and all of the stereotypes, just thinking somebody a thug or a criminal, they'll share their heart and their hurt with you. And you'll say, that one right there could have been prevented. That one right there, we would have wrapped our arms around a little bit tighter. We could have directed that one into a different direction. So I go into the schools, answering your question. I chose it because I make myself on a certain level, being able to relate. You know, sometimes I go and play basketball, do creative writing workshops, whatever way I can reach somebody based off what they have in them. I'll say, let's get in there and deal with this. And then the next thing you know, they open up and they do the work.
Man, we had about 10 of you in every zip code. We probably wouldn't need no police because everybody be good. You influence everybody.
Hey, I'll say this. Sometimes we don't have to go to Baltimore, Denver, Pennsylvania, Brooklyn. You got folks who live on Brooklyn in Kansas City. You got folks who live on Pennsylvania in Kansas City. You got folks who live in Denver in Kansas City. And many times we overlook the great people. And I just, shout out all of you. I guarantee that if they talk to a Rance, talk to a Sydney, talk to a Lexi, talk to a Reverend Williams, talk to a Josh, many times we got that title syndrome going on. And we get caught up in a name brand, and the name brand us. And I say often, don't let the name brand you. Stop looking brand new. Walk in the room all rise and all sick because they can't stand you. So we got to get off that title front. And we got to start looking at folks who are right in our neighborhoods, right in our schools. I'm not against traveling. God's going to open up doors. But we overlook people who got some answers, and they right in front of us.
Man, I agree.
Hallelujah, brother. Hallelujah.
I know, right?
And they dropping them bars on y'all still in case y'all ain't catching them.
I join.
Man.
Yeah.
Started singing "Take Me to the Water."
Doors of the church now open.
Yeah. A question: Do video games contribute to partner violence?
There is a stat that says the average person 18, I'm citing the American Psychiatric Association, will see 200,000 acts of violence and 16 or 18,000 simulated murders. And so I will say this. I think it causes a desensitized mind that could lead to that. Some people can handle it better than others, but at the bare minimum, it desensitizes us to where we think it's normal.
Wow. Hey, Rance, Sydney, Alexis, if I got Brother Anthony to do a creative writing workshop
I'm there.
would you roll with me?
I'm there.
Yes, sir.
I'd be there.
Cool. We'll make that happen. What other workshops or trainings would you like to have? And we've got resources galore. And so unless you tell me you want to sell weed or something and you want to get at it, I can probably hook you up. What other kind of training can you see? Photography? Would anybody be interested in photography?
Photography and filming.
Photography would be good.
Oh man, if y'all want to do filming, we can definitely need you.
Yes, we need to do
video,
that.
Audio.
Video, audio, Not anything creative, one.
Yeah, 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 yeah. What topics? Okay, so this is our finale for 2020, but in 2021, mid-January, we'll kick back up with some new things. Well, let me ask this too. So, Brother Stan is in the background, teleporting people in, uh, making the whole thing look great from a distance. He never shows his face because he got these big
Oh,
but he's in the background doing this thing and making you look good, making this work for you. How, is there anyone that would like to learn how to do what he's doing in the background?
Sir.
Is that anybody?
Yes.
Feels
I would.
okay. Okay. All right. What? So, can you name all the topics that we've had and all the guests that we've had in these 6 segments of Hype? I've got a prize for you. If did you ever get your Chromebook, Sydney?
Yeah, I got it. Yes, it came like as soon, like right after you emailed me, like a couple hours later. My daddy knocked on my door and was like, "There's a package for you," and it's wrapped up in a bunch of bubble wrap. So I was like, "Okay," I didn't know he meant like today, but it came. So I'm grateful for it.
Well, good.
So
Because
see
they
if
was talking
Alexis
about
can
me
answer
bad.
it then.
All right, so tell me all the 6 topics and all the 6 presenters that we've had.
This gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Just do the presenters.
I've only been here for 4, so
Just do the presenters.
And I only been
count me
there
out.
for like I've been there like I think I know like the people's jobs, but I don't remember their names off the top of my head.
I think we're gonna give you best microphone award because
But crispy.
Well, let's see who can come up with the most answers there.
All right.
Okay, so I was not there last week, but the first week we had a football player from the Chiefs. What's his name? I don't know his name. See? I remember. I promise you, I don't remember. I'm trying. I don't remember the names.
All right.
He was a Chiefs player. It was Bashad Breeland. He was a Chiefs player.
Yeah, and the second one was I want to say The Voice.
All right, wrong order, but you're right. He was on here.
Yeah, I think he was 3.
Yeah, he was 3.
Oh, he was 3. Okay.
What was his name? You should know his name. You met him.
I know that's the bad part about it. I met him and all.
JR.
I still don't know his name. I don't remember his name. Oh, JR. And it was the legend.
What's the initials stand for?
This is I got amnesia because
Amnesia.
Amnesia. What's it called? Is it called amnesia? Amnesia. I got that.
She got that right.
And then I know Legend Mother came on talking about gun violence and talking
Legend
about
Tyler
how, yes. And that's all I can remember.
Jane Peters, baby.
Then
yeah. What about?
And Mr. Anthony came on today.
I'm like, you better
I
not
remember that one. I know that one.
You got that.
I gonna leave it out. Yes.
Yeah.
The topics we were talking about. The topics were HIV and AIDS, gun violence, domestic violence, obviously. COVID, talking about like to protect COVID and stuff like that. And that's it. That's all I can remember.
Well, you left out Sydney's mom.
Yeah,
yes.
James
I didn't leave your mom.
and Mr. Anthony. That's all I can remember.
All right, we all missing
That's
one
all
more.
I got for you.
It was the guy from Ad Hoc. Damon.
Right.
Dang.
I wasn't there
And
for that
Yeah,
one.
I
Good
forgot
oh, that
one.
was
about that.
last week. And the sheriff, no, the police chief's community initiative officer,
He
James
was the
Okay.
Peter.
same week
Cooley.
as
Cooley.
James Peter Baker.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So y'all,
Yeah,
y'all
she better than me. I'm sorry. I've been here like 4 weeks, and most of them, I forgot who they were. Like
yeah,
I remember James Peters Baker,
uh-huh.
Mr. Damon. I think that's yeah, and Mr. Anthony tonight, and me and my mama. That's all I got for you. That's all I can get.
All right. Well, it's all good. So who you want on, and what topics do you want? What people would you like to talk to? What topics would you like to have addressed next session, which will be in 2021.
How about somebody from like financials, teaching to save and
Money literacy, financial literacy.
yeah.
Yeah, like how to manage money and stuff.
Y'all
Because I
wouldn't
think
y'all wouldn't come to that.
we did that in we did it out. It was a lot of people, like a lot of students participating in what's that thing called? It was like a summer camp that we did. Hogan that did, and then we was like learning how to manage money and what to spend it on and stuff like that. And it was interesting with me because I need to learn how to manage
We can
more.
do that. We can do that. Okay.
It was called Youth Ambassadors. Youth Ambassadors. I did that, and we learned about that.
Oh yeah, Tisha Miller
Yeah.
runs that program. She's a really good lady.
I'm a part of that program. Yeah, I'm a part of the Youth Ambassadors.
That's
Yeah.
Oh, then
fabulous.
we just had you back on the show then.
Yeah, we learned about like lifestyle. We learned about lifestyle, like how to like what we want, what our goals wanted to be and stuff like that. And then financial. We learned like so much in Youth Ambassadors. I did it like for 3 programs. And then like
Yeah, I'm
with our
gonna
checks,
pray
like
about
with our
that one.
checks
I'm
and stuff,
sorry, man.
they were paying us to go, but they were also teaching us with them checks how to manage money and the financial aid and stuff.
Yeah, how big was the check?
It was like $100,
Hey,
I
that's
think.
the first part about financial literacy. Don't be telling nobody what's in your pocket. Gotta watch out for him. Y'all just make sure y'all plot and think on some stuff, and y'all got our contact info. Just let us know what y'all can think of before the middle of January, so we can try to make sure the shows are catered to stuff that y'all like. And we definitely appreciate y'all showing up today. But before we end, I want to hear a 12 from Mr. Anthony. 12 bars, whatever you want to speak about.
Bars. Hey, I'll do this one. My past was a challenge, obscure, anonymous. The present is hectic, squeezing me, the drama gets pressed in my future. It doesn't look good, dark clouds, ominous. I'm in this predicament by myself. I hear the ticking of the bombiness. Life is unstable, several unbreakable bonds are split. Many living lies, a bunch of broken promises. I will never quit this race. I regroup, pray, pause, add a comma in. This is how I cope. I grope a pen in my palm, and this praising poet produces power pieces from my soldiers like a llama spits. I finally come to this conclusion, intricately woven right, me and my destiny. I'm in this for life.
He be killing alliteration,
Tell
He
it,
man.
got bars for days. Don't play with him.
So that's what I'm talking. That's the
Killing
lyrics.
If
alliteration.
that was a song, man, you would get like
Oh
a
God, you'll
Oscar
be
for
on
that,
charts.
man.
You'll
That
be
was
on
good.
charts. You're gonna be
Oh,
better than Quavo them.
But that was
Like
13. He
seriously,
said 12.
he said that was 13.
man, you
I
get
got
you
him.
a Grammy off of that, man.
Oh man. Well, Mr. Anthony, man, we sure appreciate you being with us today and all the knowledge you dropped on us. I want you to keep doing what you're doing out there because you saving lives and you influencing the youth in the perfect way, man. Any last words?
Hey, just continue to pursue your destiny, connect with God, connect with people who catapult you. I just say
Yes,
do
sir.
that all over.
Yes, sir. Can't lose like that.